This is by far the hardest game to buy on Steam. Not only is it unavailable on the Steam store, but keys for this game are being sold for almost $1,000. So why is this game so hard to find right now? Let me give you a little bit of background. During the years of 2006 to 2013, Activision held the publishing rights to the James Bond franchise and would produce 4 video game titles, technically 5 if we count a remake. The first was 007 Quantum of Solace in 2008, which was a first-person shooter developed by Treyarch for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the Wii. The game was the first to feature Daniel Craig's voice and likeness inside the video games, and it was received fairly positive, a little bit more mixed. Next was a title released exclusively for the Wii in 2010, simply titled GoldenEye 007, which was a bit of a reboot to the franchise. The game is a reimagining of the 1995 James Bond film GoldenEye, as well as a bit of a remake of the original 1997 game on the N64. Now this game receives a lot of hate, but being completely honest, this game was awesome. It was basically Call of Duty with the GoldenEye license and story, which I can see would bug particular fans of the franchise, but actually was quite fitting to me. Are the Bond movies not just over-the-top action films with unrealistic, dangerous stunts, just like a Call of Duty game? GoldenEye 007 really was just Call of Duty with the Bond license, and I was here for it at the time. It was an enjoyable experience across the campaign and especially the multiplayer, which was just as fun and addicting as the original, and it had the bonus of having an online multiplayer component. And it stood as one of the best Wii shooters on the system at the time, and even now it probably stands as one of the best. Alongside the release of the Wii exclusive GoldenEye, James Bond 007 Bloodstone was released the same year for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC. It was a third-person action game with the first truly original story not based on previous films, and was set between the events of Quantum of Solace, the video game, and Skyfall, the film. The game was received pretty mixed across the board, getting an average score of about 62 on Metacritic, and the developer Bizarre Creations would close down just a few months later in 2011 in February. Later that year, however, in November 2011, the Wii exclusive GoldenEye 007 would be ported and updated for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 consoles. It made a few additions to the game, like MI6 Ops, which was basically just survival from Modern Warfare 3, as well as changes made to the multiplayer maps, like expanding on them in size or adding things to them, which could obviously be done with the added power from the PS3 and 360 consoles. And finally, 007 Legends, the last Bond game published by Activision. The game was released to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the James Bond film series, and each of the campaign missions include one mission from each of the 6 actors' eras. The gameplay was basically unchanged from GoldenEye 007 Reloaded's, and it was received to mixed reviews across the board, and sales would be quite unimpressive. Now, why is this title specifically so hard to come by and so expensive on PC? Well, on January 4th, 2013, Activision would remove every single one of their digital James Bond titles from storefronts without notice. Activision's license for the James Bond games were due to expire in 2014, however, because all their titles were delisted in early 2013, it's been speculated that their license was revoked rather than allowing it to run to term. You may be able to find physical copies of these games for relatively cheap by people online who don't know that this game has been delisted, but as for getting it digitally, it is mostly gone. Keys are almost nowhere for any of these games, and the ones that do exist are being sold at ridiculous prices, especially for 007 Legends. IO Interactive has since gained the license to develop James Bond games and is currently working on their title, codenamed Project 007. These guys have a pretty good history with stealth gameplay with their Hitman series, so hopefully they're able to make something great while they retain the James Bond license. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, be sure to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you all in the next one.